It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. This is the program that takes the mystery out of your financial life. I'm Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst. Hey, I'm also a certified financial planner. And that means that I love to hear the whole story of your life, not just your finances, but what else is going on. That way, we, me, and executive producer Mark Talercio, also a CFP, can help guide you towards the place you want to go. It is not our journey, it is your journey. This show is about you. So if you have a question, something's going on, give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button, which is in the upper right-hand corner. No matter where you go on the website, it's always there. And write us a note. If that is the only thing you're going to do, it's just going to be an email, try to give us a bunch of details so we don't have to say, hey, send us more information. If you'd like to join us live on the air, check the box. Mark will do everything else. And it's great because then we get to ask you all these wonderful follow-up questions. Today, we are starting the program with Christine, who joins us from the Bay Area. And it's very early there. So I apologize, Christine. I'm on that East Coast hepped up time. You're kind of getting into your day. So welcome to the program. Warm us up. What do we need to know about you?
Thank you. Well, so I just retired in February of this year. Some information about me. I'm 56. I worked in tech since I am in the Bay Area, so I did work in tech for over 27 years. I just finally decided, you know what, I'm doing well and I don't need the chaos of tech, and so I made the decision to retire. Originally, I was going to do it in about 3 years, but if I can do it now, what am I waiting for? Because time is one thing that I can never get back.
That is such an excellent point. And, you know, I think that there have been many people who say to me, oh, Jill, you don't like it when anyone retires. It's not that I don't like that people retire. I want you to take your time and think about these big decisions, but also to contemplate, you know, at age 56 and you have put your time in, what happens next? How do you think you're going to be managing this next, you know, hopefully 3-4 decades? So what's the game plan, Christine?
That is a good question. So I was a project manager. So, you know, I'm always thinking about what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am right now volunteering at least 2 nonprofits. I say at least because I'm waiting for a third one. I just signed up for a community college course that will start in August, and obviously in between I'm doing some traveling. So that's my plan right now. But what I do recognize is that I do have the next 3 to 4 decades, and so I can't be too rigid. I want to be flexible, but I have to change that mindset. And I know I need to give myself a bit of grace since I just retired 5 months ago.
So let me ask you something. Let me ask you a few pointed questions about this period of time. You clearly, as a project manager, probably could have lined up 5 different things to do.
Yeah.
How did it feel having nothing lined up?
You know, I have to say the first week, it was really wonderful because as a project manager, the first thing I do when I wake up, even though it's early here, this is my normal schedule. I would wake up, pick up my phone, check my Slack, check my email, and just start going at it for 8-9 hours. So it was refreshing. But then by the second week, because I wasn't busy 40-50 hours a week, I felt like I wasn't contributing to myself, to the world in some way. I felt like I was being, quote unquote, lazy. I had to let that go.
How'd you do that? How did you let it go? You just said to yourself, calm down, like you just talked to yourself a little bit, or did you have friends who also retired?
It was me just calming down, but also I keep in touch with my colleagues at work, and they tell me about the chaos. So now I am their venting person, but I tell them, you know, I'm sorry for what you're going through, but I'm so glad I am not going through it. So it's the reinforcement that I made the right decision.
Great.
It's also, though, now I have a calendar with intentions. I got to say, when I was working, I would sometimes, by the end of the day, go, what did I accomplish? just a lot of meetings. I would be frank, a lot of BS meetings where people just talk and talk and without a whole lot of outcome. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm volunteering, and I feel like, okay, even though it's not the most mentally stimulating work sometimes, but I feel like I've accomplished something. I'm helping somebody
Mm.
from doing that.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, if I had to like think about this, the name of this episode maybe would be Retirement with Intention. And I love
Yeah.
that idea because intention doesn't have to be just to make money, but it does have to do with, how am I spending my days? And you totally deserve to take some time and just figure it out. I'm not one of these folks who is mad about like, oh, you must have the next thing lined up before you leave that's not necessarily the case. So we're going to find out whether you have lots and lots of money to take your time with this retirement with intention.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, how are you supporting yourself?
I saved a lot in the past 35 years of working.
Mm-hmm.
As a single person, I don't have a lot of overhead except my dog. I have a mortgage, but it's only about $80,000 at this point at a 3.4% mortgage.
And how much is the place worth?
Let's say 600.
Okay, so that's good. And so did you have any pension benefit or not?
No,
Okay.
working in tech, nope.
I figured not.
Yeah.
So what about in retirement assets? Tell me about what you saved.
Overall total as of Friday, it was 4.2 mil.
Wow. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How much are you, I mean, I know we don't really know what your real next phase looks like, but how much are you spending right now in general?
I have a budget sheet, of course.
Of course you do, project manager.
I'm giving myself $100K a year.
That's it. That's all you need.
That's all I need.
Okay.
And so that's why I reached out to you, because I've obviously gone through all the financial and retirement calculators. I even have a financial advisor, and he said I could retire twice over.
Yeah.
I just mentally, I don't know how to let it go. And again, it's 35 years or 40 years of saving. And so how do I switch that? Is it a dimmer or is it a switch?
Well, I mean, in the same way that you approached the idea of, first week was refreshing, then you felt like you were being lazy. You really do have to grant yourself some grace. Even, if the 4.2 million, I presume some of it hasn't been taxed, some of it has been taxed. Right. But it's very difficult for me to find a way. I agree with the advisor of like, you're not going to be able to do what you want to do because you don't spend that much money. Mm-hmm. So relative to the assets you've created. Mm-hmm. So how can we do this? Well, is it possible that we replicate that feeling of being paid? So of the 4.2, how much money is in retirement assets that have not yet been taxed?
Well, my overall 401k is 1.8. Mm-hmm. Approximately 400 of that is Roth 401k.
Mm-hmm. So 1.4.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get back to Christine in just a minute. If you've got a question, go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are here trying to help you make better financial decisions. Sometimes it's just less bad. If you've got something going on in your life and it touches a dollar bill in any way, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. While you're there, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. It comes out every Friday. Great tune-up for this program. Right now, let's get back to Christine from the Bay Area. So here's an idea of something you may be able to do. Okay. You say, and again, you're working with a financial advisor who's managing this for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can say to this person, you know, that 1.4 million that I have, let's try to set something up where I can turn the faucet on and you send me, let's just call it 100 grand a year from that account. Okay. For the next 10 years, whatever it is. Let's say it's 140 for 10 years. Okay. And that way I can manage my tax liability. I know that money has to be taxed eventually. I'm going to have to start taking it out. I'll start taking it out now. You send me I don't know how you feel about this. Some people would like to get this chunk of money just on the second day of January next year, maybe, or maybe you just say send it quarterly. However, it goes into your account. You leave a little money aside for taxes, but you have the money to spend for that quarter. You're paying yourself. This is a little workaround. This is, instead of feeling lazy, this is a reminder that, like, actually, I've worked 27 years and I deserve it. It's the same thing. We're coming up with a workaround that will allow you to essentially pay yourself back in all of that money you saved. You now have to turn the faucet on to you. Now, the one thing that you're going to have the creative adjustment around is you're going to have to let yourself understand on like some major league visceral level. You are trying to deplete this $1.4 million over the next 10 or 12 years. That's your goal. You want it out of there. You want to pay the tax that's due. You're going to live on it. That's it.
Okay.
Now, I'm thinking that the advisor is going to be like, terrific, because I can manage that. We'll set this up. We'll invest it in a way so that we know that every year we need to send you $140,000 divided up in 4 installments. Perfect. And if you needed more money, you still have other money that's available. So you have brokerage account, et cetera. You can use it.
Right.
And then in 10 or 12 years, or whenever maybe it's age 70 when you decide you're going to collect Social Security, you get your Social Security. And now you're going to be able to do the same thing with these other accounts. I think that in the hierarchy, I would think get money out of the accounts that have not been taxed first, then start tapping into the brokerage accounts, and then you leave the Roth for last.
Okay.
I think if you do that, this retirement with intention theme, I think this is an incredibly powerful way to remind yourself that this is your own pension plan. In other words, let's say that you didn't work in tech. Let's say that you were a teacher and every year you paid into a system and that went into some pot of money called a pension. And then when you retired, someone turned the faucet on, you and the municipality, and they start sending you money. You're just doing the same thing. It's your own pension plan. You've worked really hard to accumulate this. So if you can be intentional about this, I think it's freeing. I think it is a way for you to really say to yourself, I deserve this. I've worked my ass off for, almost 3 decades. I don't need, my project management skills are such that it might actually be a little bit of a liability in this phase. I don't have to do that so much. And I can enjoy the fruits of all that labor. And you should do it. It should be amazing. And at some point, someone's going to reach out to you and they're like, oh, Christine, you're so great. Come and do a project for us. We want to pay you. Yep. And you're going to have to think long and hard about whether you want to do that or not.
Yep. That is true.
Right?
Yeah. Well, frankly, I'm glad you said that because I'm giving myself a year to just enjoy life. But I feel like I can still give at least 10 more good years, working years. So maybe I'll do a part-time job, but I only want to do part-time. I can't imagine going back to full-time ever again in my life.
I have a very good friend of mine. I just was out with him last week, and he retired from a pretty intense career on Wall Street. And he said that he took a year off, and that sometimes it was painful. That he goes, listen, I was floundering a little bit, like I have nothing to do. I need to figure out how to, what the next thing is. And then after a year, he dusted off his LinkedIn profile, which he said was hadn't been updated in 20 years or something since LinkedIn started. And he said, I decided that, I would be open to doing some board work. I'd be on a board of a nonprofit or for-profit, but he was very choosy. And I think you have that ability to be choosy. You should only do the things that make you feel good. Hey, I mean, maybe volunteering, packing lunches for,
Mm-hmm.
homeless people
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
not using my brain. So maybe I
Mm-hmm.
would like to use my brain. And then
Mm-hmm.
someone pops out of the world and says, we're doing this project. It's for a nonprofit, but it's a tech project. Might you be interested? And maybe that's something you would be interested in.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I've thought about that. But back to the money side, and this feels like a therapy session.
That's right.
Um, what I can't let go of
Hmm.
is like, oh my God, what if the stock market drops 50%, which it was starting at
Yeah.
that point in April. Like, what's my threshold where I can still be okay with my
You're okay no
plan?
matter what. I want to tell you something. Here's why. You will experience a bear market.
Yep,
You are going to be investing for 3 more decades.
right.
I have good news and bad news.
Yep,
The bad
yep.
news is there will be a bear market. You will lose 20. You will lose 30. Maybe there will be one of these times where you will lose half of your portfolio. We'll go through a once in a 50-year period of a financial crisis. And maybe that will happen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to sell everything. You can stay invested and you will be able to essentially ride it out. The key for you is really going to be, can you manage this? Can you manage the stress of it without panicking and going back into work? But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you're not 100% in stocks, are you? Your
No, no,
portfolio?
no. I'm 50-50.
You're not going to have even the worst, like the worst year, 2008. It wasn't a 50% loss if for a balanced investor. And it came back pretty fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to breathe deep. You're going to remind yourself that you're going to have one of these terrible periods. And this is why you work with somebody also, right? I mean,
Yep, yep.
it is part of the reason that people like to work with advisors so that you can feel like, oh, I do not have to panic when there's something bad going on in the universe. I can talk to somebody who will keep me on track. And
Yep.
that's what you're going to do. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
stay on track. It's going to be, I think that this is one of those situations where all of this. You need someone to reinforce it.
Exactly, exactly.
And I think you got it. I think it's going to be good. So I'm going to send you off and say to you, I think this is all doable. I know that you are single. Do you have your estate documents done?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
good. So there's some very lucky nieces and nephews and
Yes.
someone to take care of your dog.
Well, I told them I'm dying with zero, but
Oh,
since they
nice.
don't understand the concept, I said, don't worry, you'll get money while I'm still alive.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's funny that you should say that because I think that it's good to try, if you can, to give the money away during your life to the people who you think could use it while you're
Yes,
living. And it's pretty nice to be able to do that. So
exactly.
I think it's awesome. If you've got a financial issue that is bubbling up, maybe you want to buy a house, maybe you want to sell a house, maybe you've got some student loans, maybe you're saving for college, whatever it is, get in touch with us. We really don't care what the issue is. We just care about you and what you want. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are here trying to help you chart your course, whatever that course is. I've always joked about this, that we're like Waze or Google Maps for your money, meaning that if you have something you'd like to do and it's way out in the future and you can't really get your arms around it, get in touch with us. But also, if it's something right now, maybe you've got a job offer, maybe you're thinking about retirement, maybe you want to switch careers in total and just do something different, Can you really do that? You know, I wrote a whole book about this. It's called The Great Money Reset, and it's based on conversations that I had with you guys, people who got in touch with this program and our 2 podcasts and asked about these questions. And a lot of this had to do with some big changes that were external, but some of them are little bits in between. And sometimes the small decisions that you are forced to make every day, they pile up, and you haven't done anything with it. Well, let us help you make those changes and get you where you want to go. If you would like to come on the program, all you need to do is go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. When you do that, a form will pop up, and that is the email that we receive. If you would like to join us live, all you need to do is check the box, and Mark will do everything else. So as I mentioned on the website, you can find my book, The Great Money Reset. You can also find a lot of free resources. We've got 2 podcasts. We've got a blog. We've got a video section. And if you miss any part of this show, all you have to do is click the radio tab. Okay, right now, let's get to Chris from Arizona. Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm well, Jill. Thank you.
What's going on? How can I help you out?
Well, I just really kind of wanted to touch in and see if we're on the right track. You know, we're 37 years old, active duty military. We move around every 2 to 3 years. We're a 1-income household right now. And we've got 2 young kids, a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I just kind of wanted to see if we're on the right track or if there's anything smarter that we could be doing.
First of all, thank you for serving. Do you think that's kind of weird when people say that, or do you like it? I just always, some people are like, oh my God, like another idiot who's just thanking me. They don't know anything about what I do. Do you like it or do you not like it?
No, it's great. I in all of us, we appreciate it, and we'll say the same things to each other.
Okay, well, good. Thank goodness I said the right thing. You're in Arizona now, and you move every couple of years. So, what does that do to your mindset? Like, how do you manage that? I'm sort of intrigued by the moving around. They always say, like, when people say, like, what are the stressful things that people go through? It's sort of like birth, death, illness, moving. So, how is that moving? How is that?
Well, it's great. It is certainly a mindset that you get used to. We've had friends who moved for the first time ever and said it was the most stressful thing ever. So I hear what they're saying, but I think at some point you get used to it. And in truth, every couple of years, if we're someplace for 2 years, we start to get a little antsy and ready to move on to see something else. So we're very fortunate. We've been overseas quite a bit. We've lived in Italy and England and New York, Arizona, Kansas, and then most recently we've actually only been in Arizona for about a month. We moved here from Alaska. We were up there for 3 years. So
oh my God, that's amazing. Where has been your favorite place to live so far?
Either upstate New York, it is beautiful up there, or probably Savannah, Georgia. Savannah is one of the greatest places, in our opinion, in the country.
Wow. A big plug for Savannah and upstate New York. Mark, how about that? Compared to Italy, he's going to pick upstate New York. It's incredible. I love it. Okay. So, Chris, let's talk a little bit about what's going on for you guys. So, as active duty military, how much are you earning right now?
About 100. I think this past year I made 110,000.
Okay.
So I've been in for 15 years. We got about 5 years until we're looking at a potential military retirement. Obviously, we're years away from a regular retirement.
And in 5 years, what would that military retirement pay in terms of a pension benefit?
Average, it would probably be around 70,000 a year.
Okay. But you're not going to say, oh, I'm going to call it quits. You're very young and you'd be in your 40s. You would do something else after that. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So tell us about the money that you have saved so far, both in terms of the addition to the pension and also whether or not you've saved money in excess of just retirement, other ways.
Yeah. So we have right now about 16,000 just in emergency savings. It's in a high yield account. With American Express. And then we've got about 7,500 just in kind of regular savings account savings. Mm-hmm. We also, in addition to the retirement, so we've been maxing out for both me and my wife our Roth IRAs. So in mine, we have 173,000, and then my wife's is 102,000. And then we also contribute to the Roth TSP program, like for DoD employees.
Yep.
And we've got just over 30,000 in that. And then we just keep a little bit in some brokerage accounts, one with Fidelity that's kind of more retirement focused with 10,000 in that.
Okay. And for the kids, you get one GI Bill in terms of college. Is there any other money that you've socked away for them? I know that at 3 years old, you can tell they're scholars.
We are trying to set some aside. So we have 529s open right now with the state of Georgia. The 5-year-old has 11,000 in it, and my 3-year-old has 6,000. We just contribute a small amount every month to that, about $50 a month. But then if the kids get money for their birthday or Christmas or whatever, we put it into the 529.
Okay, but that's great. How is your cash flow doing all this? You've accumulated a lot of assets. Are there any other assets that you are not telling us about yet? Any rental property or anything like that?
No, we don't own any houses. We don't own any rental properties, and that's one of the things I'll be curious to talk about. Our cash flow is good. Our monthly expenses are probably about $3,000 a month. We don't really have any debt except for 2 cars that we had to get when we moved back from England in 2021 at the world's worst time to buy 2 cars. So our only debt is really just about $1,000 a month in car payments, and then everything else that's kind of it. Now we don't eat out much, so we do have a pretty high grocery bill, about $1,000 a month. But I'm going to say our monthly expenses are about $3,000 a month, and then we put quite a bit into just savings, about $500 a month, in addition to just all the retirement focused stuff. So we don't really have any issues.
That's great. We'll get back to Chris in just a minute. You are listening to the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show. We are answering your financial questions. If you've got one, all you need to do is go to our website, jillonmoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. Once you write that note, if you want to join us live, check the box. Mark will do everything else. While you're on the website, don't forget to subscribe to our 2 other programs. One is Jill on Money, our podcast. That's Monday through Friday. And the other is Money Watch, our Saturday and Sunday podcast. For those of you who are like my mom, who don't really understand what a podcast is, just think it's like audio on demand. It's just like using any streaming service. You can get it when you want. You can subscribe to our podcast on our website, on the Odyssey app, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Right now, let's get back to Chris. Do you have some place in mind that, again, it's 5 years from now, 5, 6, 7 years from now? Do you have an idea like, you know what, we're going to move back to Savannah? Is that something that you kind of push into like the dream category, or like, oh, we're going to make that a reality?
I think actually we haven't really settled. We're not ready to settle down yet. We still like moving and seeing other parts of the country and the world. If I had to get my dream way, it would probably be in the Northeast, like either, Vermont, New Hampshire, Northern New York. My wife is more in the Southeast, that kind of coastal Georgia area. So we really don't know. And that's been one of the reasons that we haven't wanted to purchase yet. We've been hesitant, and for one reason, because we live overseas so much, we haven't really wanted to maintain have a house and then have to worry about it or the upkeep or anything like that as a rental property. And then additionally, we have a lot of friends who own 1, 2, maybe even 3 houses our age. And when you talk to them, you start to feel kind of behind. But then with those good friends that you're open to talking about money with, when you ask them what their real revenue is after, management fees and all that, and it seems like they are often making $200 to $300 a month. So in that sense, it kind of isn't worth it to us yet, but maybe that's a naive view.
Well, I mean, look, it totally depends. Sometimes the income is not the driving force. It may have been like, if you're lucky enough, I have a friend whose son in the military, and, he happened to buy, he was, he's an Air Force guy. So he's up in Syracuse, New York. Okay. And he happened to stumble upon a cheap house at the beginning of COVID for a low mortgage interest rate. So he stumbles onto it. When he goes to his next post, it's going to be a good rental property because he's into it so cheap. The question of whether like you should just do it for the sake of doing it, I don't think so. I agree. I tend to be more in your camp, which is I'm not dying to be a remote landlord. It's not going to be huge money. Just think about that prices overall are up about, 45% in 5 years. Mortgage rates are high. I wouldn't really be jumping in unless you felt compelled. If you said to me, the reason why I asked that sort of is that the dream thing. If all of a sudden you guys said to each other, like, you know what, we're both all in, we're going to Vermont, New Hampshire, Northeast, we know we want to be there, you could sort of keep an eye out and we could have almost like a sinking fund getting ready to buy something when you were ready. But since there's not consensus yet, I don't think I would do that. You're doing an incredible job of saving. I mean, you have a lot of money that you have accumulated in those Roth IRAs. I wouldn't necessarily jump into the I must buy real estate. In many respects, just given your life and where you're all over the world, it seems like you're in a wonderful place and you have a very low cost of living. I mean, look, it's probably going to be that in the future, wherever you land in 5 years, it's not going to be $3,000 a month of expenses. You're going to have a different kind of life, right? Right. And you're either going to have to rent something that is probably more expensive or maybe you'll buy. But for right now, I think you're doing an incredible job. It's like inspiring, frankly. Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, Mark, I'm just going to bring you on the mic. Do you not agree with this? Like this guy is making $110,000. Look at all the money they've saved. The two of them, they're 37 years old. They got 2 kids.
No, they're 100% on track. I know in his email, he says, it's hard to believe, it's hard to see how 300,000 that they have now will turn into, 2 million in 30 plus years. Well, I'm telling you right now, you're saving 14.5% to retirement every year. If you keep doing that in 30 years, that 300,000, it'll be between $2.5 to $3 million, no doubt. Plus you have a $70,000 a year pension. I mean, all good.
I know it is hard, Chris, to think about that because it's really hard to see in real time today how compounding works, but it really is incredible, which is why, because you started early and you really were not spending a ton of money. This is like knock it out of the park kind of numbers to me. And maybe you've listened to the podcast and maybe you've heard people come on, I've got $5 million, I got this. But, we don't talk to as many people who are 37 years old and in this situation. Often when we're talking to a 37 or 40-year-old, what's happening is they're telling us like, I've saved $1 million and I spend $12,000 a month. That's a huge difference. It really is. So I think you're in such good shape. As part of being active duty military, you have to have your estate planning done. Is that right? Don't you have to have a will?
We don't have to, but it is highly encouraged.
And we can
do it for free on the installation.
And you have that. Great. And what about life insurance? Since you are the primary wage earner, do you have any extra life insurance than beyond what is provided to you by the military?
Yes, we do. We have a small policy with USAA that's $100,000 a year. So in total, I think my benefit to my wife is like $500,000, something like that.
If you could bump it up a little bit, it wouldn't be a bad thing. Just because you have those 2 little kids and who knows what's going to happen. So maybe $750. If you could add a little extra coverage, that would be good.
Okay.
You are listening to the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. This is a program that is focused on you, our listeners. And so if you have some issue that is bubbling up about your life and it is related to the economy or to money in any way, Mark and I are both certified financial planners, and we are here to help you. We don't want to sell you any financial products. We have nothing to do with that side of the business. We're just media folks. So if you've got a question, just go to JillOnMoney.com. click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us on the air live, check the box. Mark will do everything else. Now, also, while you're on the website, I have to just point this out. We have a blog section, but if you would like to get that blog sent to you, or you'd like our free weekly newsletter, you should subscribe to us. Or if you want to do that, you can just do it on Substack. That's where we're putting a lot of our written content out, so you should check us out there. And recently, I posted something that I called the Burrito Barometer, which is a way that I wanted to try to make sense of the choices that we were making in the economy. And I got a lot of feedback from that post. And this is one note from Anonymous, who writes, "The Burrito Barometer is a pragmatic way to identify economic trends at the consumer level. Anecdotally, I earn a great wage and I've got ample retirement funds. Still, I had a very humble aid to dependent children background. I watch prices between increased insurance, utility, and food costs. My discretionary income has declined. The weekly meal plan is now bi-weekly. Concerts have become a ripoff. I purchase albums. Electricity is cheaper after 7 p.m., so I wait until late at night to do laundry. The water bill is like paying for liquid gold, so I also use water from the dehumidifier to water my plants. As for that burrito, maybe twice a month I'll indulge instead of once a week. I live with gratitude. Still, inflation is detrimental to consumers, and I see it increasing." Anonymous, thank you so much for that note. It really puts into stark relief how the pressures are building in the economy. And if it's building for you, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome back. It's hour number 2 of the Jill on Money Show. We are here answering your financial questions. And we don't care whether you have a lot of money, a little money. If you're in a problem, a jam, we might be able to help you out. If things are really going well, but you don't know how to get to the next place, give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. Write us a note. That's the email that we receive. If you would like to join us live on the program, you check the box. Mark will do everything else. Now, while you're on the website, a couple of things to keep in mind. We have a free weekly newsletter. You should subscribe to it because when you subscribe to the newsletter, we also send out a blog post every week as well. We also have a subscription service. It's called Jill on Money Live. That is where you have access to quarterly live webinars, the entire back catalog of those webinars, bonus audio and video content, and that is all for $45 for the next 12 months. Jill on Money Live, again, you can get it right on the front door of our website. If you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a lot of good stuff from us, there's resources, there are videos, there's blogs, there's podcasts, there's so much there. Everything lives at JillOnMoney.com. And if you have any questions, that Contact Us button is always there for you in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, right now we are going to talk to Sam, who joins us from Washington, D.C.
Good morning, and thank you for having me on, Jill.
Of course. What's happening? How can we help you out?
Well, I wrote into Mark and to you and talked to you about how I'm going to retire in 1 year from the military after being in for 30 years.
Wow.
And then we're going to move down to another state, to North Carolina, and buy my in-laws' house. And
are they still alive?
Yes. Sorry, they're moving to one of these facilities. Good question.
Thank you.
To where they go into like an apartment and then they step up.
So it's like one of those interesting places where you can live independently, but if you need more care, there is facility to do so, right? There's a way to do that.
Correct.
So you said a we because you have a wife, I imagine, and
Yes.
and it's her parents' home. So how old are you guys?
So I'm 52, and
Okay.
she is also 52, and she's an NJG like yourself, also named Jill.
Really? I like that. Is she also in the military?
No, she's a family nurse practitioner.
Oh, is she going to also retire when you do?
No, she's going to work, and I plan to work as well, but I just haven't found a job yet.
Okay. So when you retire in 1 year after 30 years in the military, thank you for your service. I should be very clear to say that. What will your pension amount be?
I think I have to wait until the final. I'll have two pensions. The one pension will be about 128 a year with a COLA, and then there will be another one that I think will be about 50 a year based on my disability rating. I'm a cancer survivor, so I have a lot of issues from the radiation and the chemotherapy. So I think a lot of that will mount to a higher disability, but I won't know about that until the very end. So I'm not really.
First of all, so how are you feeling? Are you okay, cancer survivor?
Yes, I'm in good shape. I'm 5 years post stage 3A rectal cancer, and
Oh my God, unbelievable!
Yeah,
Congratulations for getting through that. That's not an easy. Journey.
Thank you. Luckily, I had really great doctors, and my wife was unbelievable in taking care of me. And
Well, she is a nurse practitioner, although I understand that a lot of medical people not so great with their own family members. But she stood up. She made it happen.
it was awesome.
Oh my God. So I just want to make sure I understand this. The 50 grand a year is because you are a cancer survivor, or is there some linkage to
No.
that you developed cancer because you were in the military?
No, so what they do is the VA, when you're leaving the military, you go through a whole process where they look at your medical records.
Mm-hmm.
And then they determine, based on all the different ailments you have, what percentage of disability and what your rating will be.
I see.
And I think, if it depends. I could be anywhere from probably 2,300 a month to 4,000 a month based on the different rating statuses.
But you think it's going to be the higher end? Or should we not even think about that? Should we just say that instead of 50 grand a year, that it's 30 grand a year?
Yeah, that's probably a safer bet, because I think it's you don't want to assume any of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So and those are lifetime payments, right? The 128 with the COLA, the DI also has COLA?
Yes.
So, all right. So you have this big chunk of money, and your wife is going to continue to work even after you move to North Carolina, right? She'll just get it. What do you think? Again, let's be conservative. What do you think she would earn in that new job in North Carolina?
Let's call it 120 to be conservative.
Okay. Do you guys have some kids?
Three that we're responsible for.
How old are they?
Well, the first one is 23, and he is out. He went to a service academy, and he's out.
Okay.
21, who's entering her senior year in college, and
but not a service person. No academy.
Correct.
You know, I'm going for like free college right here. So,
yeah, the academy was great.
Okay,
and then I have a 13-year-old who's going to start 8th grade.
Oh my God, what happened there? In between, you took a break and then you said, well, nope, let's do it. Okay, 8th grade. And so your GI Bill was for the senior in college, or you save, like, how are you managing that between those two kids?
So I gave all but a couple of months to the second one, the girl, and saved a couple months for my son, because it's unclear. Some schools, if you walk in the door, if it's a state school, you walk in the door with a GI Bill, you'll pay in-state tuition all 4 years. Some schools are not that way, but I've kept it just in case. And then she just did a semester abroad, so there were a handful of months that she didn't use while she was abroad. So he'll have, I think we'll get about a semester out of him for him left over after I'm done with her.
how do you plan to help pay for the rest of the school that's not covered by that semester, the 3.5 other semesters, out of your savings, or do you have a 529 plan? What are you thinking about for that?
I have 529 plans for all 3 kids, but I'm the manager of it, and it's I have a little over 420,000 in there.
Holy smokes! So you can't even maybe if your 8th grader goes to a private school, you'll burn it up.
Right. And that's where my daughter's at a private school. So.
Okay. All right. Very good. Okay, so this is great. So the kids are really taken care of.
Yes.
We'll get back to Sam in just a minute. If you are preparing for retirement, or maybe you're preparing for an off-ramp, or maybe you're preparing for the first step in your career, go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. And don't forget, if you'd like to come on the program live, which we really love because we can ask a lot of nosy follow-up questions, check the box. Mark will do everything else. You're listening to the Jill on Money Show.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show. We are trying to help you understand whatever is going on in your financial life and make better decisions. If you have something you'd like to do and it's way out in the future and you can't really get your arms around it, get in touch with us. But also, if it's something right now, maybe you've got a job offer, maybe you're thinking about retirement, can you really do that? You know, I wrote a whole book about this. It's called The Great Money Reset, and it's based on conversations that I had with you guys. And a lot of this had to do with some big changes that were external, but some of them are little bits in between. And sometimes the small decisions that you are forced to make every day, they pile up, and you haven't done anything with it. Well, let us help you make those changes and get you where you want to go. If you would like to come on the program, all you need to do is go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. When you do that, a form will pop up, and that is the email that we receive. If you would like to join us live, all you need to do is check the box, and Mark will do everything else. So as I mentioned on the website, you can find my book, The Great Money Reset. You can also find a lot of free resources. We've got 2 podcasts. We've got a blog. We've got a video section. And if you miss any part of this show, all you have to do is click the radio tab. Right now, we are returning to Sam, who joins us from Washington, D.C. What else have you guys done in terms of your own savings? So you've got these big pensions.
Yep.
You're going to do this house purchase and sell your D.C. area. I just want to make sure I understand this. You're going to sell the D.C. area and move with the 8th grader to a new school?
No, so he will finish 8th grade, and then we'll move him just before high school.
That's bold. Is he going to be mad about that?
Hopefully not.
You haven't told him yet?
Oh, he knows. He's
so we're not breaking the news here on this podcast as you listen in the car.
No. And he's in a private school now that ends at 8th grade, so he would have to transition to another school.
Okay. Tell me about the saving that you have done.
Okay, so we don't own a home. We rent, and we did own a home until 21, and we sold. So I have in CDs from that, I have about 340,000. And then for retirement savings and thrift savings plan, we've got about 680,000. Of that, about 113 is not taxable. And then my wife has a Roth IRA of about 430, and I have a Roth IRA of about 435. She has traditional IRA of about 9,000. I have traditional IRA of about 8,000. And we have an I bond for 10 grand and a couple of stocks in E-Trade that we've had forever.
Just fun money.
Well, we were given them when we got married, and we just never.
And one was called Apple, and that was a good one. No, I'm hopeful for you. How much is the E-Trade account worth?
About $9,000, maybe. It
Okay.
was Intel and Southwest Airlines.
All right. One good, maybe one not so good. Okay, so a lot of money saved, which is fantastic. How much will the purchase of the house in North Carolina be?
Okay, so this is where I'm not completely sure. I think it'll be about $870,
Okay.
maybe a little more than that. The price keeps changing every day. The issue that we're concerned about is my father-in-law, does not want to. I don't want to put him in a situation where he's selling below the market value because I don't want him to have to pay, and he doesn't want to pay
Gift tax.
the gift tax. Right.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. And so, I watch the price every day, of course, and I'm going crazy because the price goes up and down.
Don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. It's not worth it. It's not going to be a big deal. Did your in-laws buy this house a long time ago at a much lower price?
Yeah, they bought it in 12, and I think according to Zillow, they paid about $450 or something for it, and they paid it off. They bought it flat.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking that is that when they sell, it would be nice if we could keep the price under $1 million, simply so they don't have to pay the tax that's due. Because I'm sure that they could gin up like, okay, we paid $450, but we put $50,000 into it. You know what I mean? Like, they'll figure out how to raise the cost basis a little bit. And then if you give them $1 million and then it's fine, and then they're under that $500,000 that's excluded from capital gains on the sale of the house, which would be good for them.
Right.
Okay. Now, so let's just say it's 900, 950, whatever. So your idea to finance this is the CDs, the 340 that's in CDs. Is that right?
Yes. And what I'm calling about too is that I plan to put in a new bathroom, master bath in the house. I didn't write that to Mark.
Okay. It's okay. You're allowed to have a new bathroom.
Okay. Well, that's great. And I would like to do that. And so I'm not sure if I should, how to finance that, right? So should I put all 340 on the house as a down payment and then pull out? Oh, so in addition, I'm sorry, I didn't mention, I have another 400, of taxable money that was part of an inheritance that I received.
Okay. And wait a second, when in that inheritance, now that it's worth about 400, did you inherit it a long time ago, or is there a tax liability embedded in that 400?
So I inherited it in 21, and then I put it in the market right away.
Okay, so you're going to pay some taxes.
Correct.
Okay,
so
not huge, but some.
Right.
How much will the master bath cost?
Well, I don't know. I'm banking maybe. I was conservatively, I was saying 100,000 just to make it worst case scenario.
Okay, that's fine. It's not so worse. Okay, so here's what we got, just so I understand. We buy this place. Do you care when this transaction occurs for your parents? I mean, you can always do the transaction sooner rather than later, and then they get the cash and just stay there for a year and rent free if you would like.
Yeah, but I'm paying rent here. And so they're trying to help me out a little bit. And they are, what's nice about the whole thing is they're moving in late October to their new place. And I'm not going down there to North Carolina until June. So the
June
house
of 26, right?
Correct. So the house will be empty for a handful of months there.
Then you can do the work.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, I got it. The whole thing. But you want to consummate the transaction in October, theoretically, so they have the money or not?
I'd prefer to wait because I want to make sure when I go apply for the loan, I want to use a VA loan. And in order to do that, you can save some money if you have any disability at all. So even like a 10% or 1%, I believe, they will waive a lot of the fees.
Oh.
And so my father-in-law told me, hey, I'll help you out and I'll wait until we get that figured out. And I believe once I apply for it, I'm eligible
then you're in.
A letter that says, hey, you're going to get something. And I can use that to apply for my loan.
Okay, so that's great. So we just need, out of the 340 of the CDs and the $400,000 in the T. Rowe Price inherited account, we just need to keep $100,000 out for the master bath, and also like maybe even a little more. Maybe keep like let's say 140 out, so that we can do the move and the stuff. Right? You're going to have some stuff. So let's say that out of the 740 total, that 140 is kept out, and then you're going to finance some amount of this. Do you know what the pricing looks like on a VA loan-ish, kind of, sort of, or not really?
No.
Okay. I'm just interested. I mean, so right now you have plenty of money, obviously, right?
Okay.
You're going to end up with a very small VA loan. I don't think it's going to be a very big one at all. Even if you bought it for $1 million and, we financed $500,000, what's your rent right now?
My rent is $4,000.
This is not going to be hard for you to absorb this. Okay?
Well, so here's my question. I that 400 that's in the T row, my IRAs are in there. Yep. I consider all of that as my retirement. Should I not be afraid to take out that 400? In retirement, I have about 1.5.
Wait a minute. But just so we're clear, you said you have some Roth IRA money, right? But this
Correct.
is the 400 is a separate non-retirement account, right?
Correct.
Okay. Don't worry about touching any of this right now. We'll finish up with Sam in just a minute. It's the Jill on Money Show.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show. We are answering your financial questions, and it can be something that seems simple or intuitive, or it could be really confusing. Sometimes you guys come on the air and you ask us questions that are mind-blowing to us. We have to go find another expert to help us figure out the right way for you to move forward. But regardless, we are here to help you out. So we'll find the right resources for you if we don't have them ourselves. Just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us that note. Give us a lot of information if you don't want to join us live. But if you do want to join us live, it's so much fun. Come on, it'll be great. We'll make sure that we change your name. We'll protect you. It's really easy to do. Right now, let's finish up with Sam from Washington, D.C. To do this transaction, you are going to conserve some of the cash to do your bathroom ahead of the actual consummation of the sale. You will spend the $100,000 to do your master bathroom and clean up whatever you want. You know what I mean? Just get the stuff done. You have the money to do it. Use your CDs. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the $400,000 in the T row, we're going to need to start freeing that up because you're going to need that within a year. Okay.
Okay.
So I think it is worth your while to consider making that money more liquid so that you can do this transaction and not be subject to the swings in the market. And what you'll do is you're going to forego some of the upside in the market because that is really the wise thing to do. You should not have money at risk that you're going to need within the next 12 months.
Okay.
But you'll have all this other money. You've got your TSP. You got the $800,000 in the 2 Roth accounts. So you have money available. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to need to know when you get closer to doing this transaction, what is the VA loan looking like? And then we can make a determination. It may be that we say, take the loan out. It may not be the greatest loan in the world. It may be fine depending on where interest rates are. But let's say it's a year from now and interest rates are a little lower and you can get the loan. And as you said, there's some fees that have been waived. And now we're financing, I'm going to make it up. Let's say we're financing $400,000. Okay. You've got that note. You've got your new house.
Yep.
The $400,000, that loan is going to be very comfortable to you on a cash flow basis because you're used to paying $4,000 a month anyway.
Right.
Mark, what's a $400,000 30-year fixed rate mortgage? I'm going to do 30 for a reason. So just bear with me for 1 second, Sam. What does that cost? A $400,000 30-year fixed rate mortgage for Sam and his wife. Let's presume it's a 5% note. What's the payment on that?
$21.47.
Oh, Jill, you're so good. Okay. And then you're going to have to pay your property taxes, right?
Right.
And you're going to have to pay homeowners insurance. And when it's all tallied up, guess what? You're going to be spending about $4,000 a month.
Okay.
That's what it's going to be.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And you're good. And you're used to paying that. No problem. What do you think your expenses are right now total? Like everything you love doing what you do. You go see your kids, like load it up for me. What are your expenses right now?
We're pushing out about 20 a month.
Okay.
It's a lot. But we have the private school in there, right?
Private school is for the 8th grader or the senior in college?
For the 8th grader. The senior in college, that's all coming out of 529.
Okay. So
I don't even count that.
The little 8th grade guy, he's going to be in a private school, right?
Well, the plan is to send him to public school when we get down to North Carolina.
You're going to punish this kid. I can't believe it. He's going to move and you're not even going to put him in a fancy private school? How dare you, Sam? All right, so what will the expenses be without the private school?
So that knocks off about $2,300 a month.
All right, whatever. So let's just say 8. I'm going to say the 20,000. Okay.
Yep.
So you're paying the 20,000 out of cash flow. How much are you making right now? You're not retired yet, but how much are you earning?
Annually, with all of my housing and all that, I make about $230.
And so we know that you're going down to about 160, right?
Yes.
And your wife will have her 120.
Yep.
And so the question is, we can't really put everything. I'm thinking that perhaps you're going to need some of this money. What do you think you're going to want to do, like work-wise for you? Okay.
Yes.
You've been through this pretty traumatic thing. It's a long 5 years. You're now going to retire. What do you think you could count on earning in your next chapter of your life, Sam?
I'm hoping, about 150 or so.
All right, but even if it were like 100,
yes,
all right, and then we could get you to like 380, 400 between the two of you, and then you're carrying the 20 grand a month, no problem, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's good. I just want to make sure that between now and then, you're stocking away money. It's important that you make sure that your money is liquid enough for you to do this transition. Okay. I do think it's going to make sense for you to try to finance a portion of the house. You may pay it off. It's highly likely that you will end up paying off this house well before that 30-year mortgage. But it does seem to me that if you have a VA loan that is affordable, that we will be able to just knock this off in between the time that you're, in your next career, and maybe when your wife decides she's going to slow down some, and that we can start pulling some money out of these traditional assets, because you are going to have, you have a little bit of money in traditional now, both of you, but then you've got that, $500,000 in the thrift savings plan that hasn't been taxed yet, right?
Right.
We're going to use that. We're going to get that money out before any Social Security is claimed, but probably in between the time when you guys slow down income-wise, and we'll see how this note looks in time. But I think the way to do it is to think of your transition as we got to conserve cash. We should do the work we need. We should think about getting that T. Rowe Price inherited brokerage account a little bit more liquid so we don't have risk. Okay. And then let's look at the VA loan and determine what percentage to put down on the purchase of this house. But this all looks very good to us because you've gone through this big health scare. You have all of your documents in place, right? You have your will and your power of attorney and your healthcare proxy. You've done all that.
I do, but as a side note, I would tell you when I had my surgery, I wasn't confident when I was in Singapore, which is where I had all this great treatment, that they would have cared about my my advanced medical directive. But luckily, we didn't have to get there. But
wait a minute. You're just thinking that like certain cultures, they're going to be like, tough luck. We're going to do whatever we have to do.
Well, I think their laws are different.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. That's true. You're listening to the Jill on Money Show.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we are here answering your financial questions. If you've got one, just get in touch with us. It's so easy to do. Go to JillOnMoney.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, there is a Contact Us button. Click that button, and a form will pop up. That is the email that we receive from you. And if you're one of those shy folks, it's totally cool. Just give us a bunch of information so that we can best answer your question. If you do want to join us live, just check the box, and Mark will do everything else because he is the best executive producer in the whole wide world. See, I say it every time because it's true. While you're on the website, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter that will also entitle you to the blog posts that I write throughout the week. So you can check that out. More on that a little bit later in the program. Right now, we are going to chat with one of you shy folks. This is an email that comes from Ty, who says, I live in California. I'm retired. With Treasury bills close to what CDs are paying, would it be better to buy bills since California does tax them? Does not tax them, I think, is what the question is. I don't know what your tax bracket is, Ty. Here's the funny thing. When you're in a high tax state like California or New York, the idea of not paying state income tax is great. You just have to do a quick calculation and you can Google this. It's a tax equivalent rate of return. Compare what it would be to get that Treasury bill versus the CD interest rate and determine which is a better deal if you're not paying state income tax on it. Or, by the way, if you've got a lot of money sloshing around, maybe you think about putting some money into California municipal bonds. They're not as safe as the federal, but pretty safe. I think you'd be okay. Okay, here we go. This is from Ernie. And this is awesome. So this is the FIRE Fine Semi-Retirement Abroad. FIRE, Financial Independence, Retire Early. FINE is our version of that, which is Financial Independence, New or Next Endeavor. Okay, so we are two expats who are feeling the urge for adventure and exploration again. We recently read your book and started listening to your podcast, which have both been very insightful. They're talking about my book, The Great Money Reset. So thank you, Ernie. Okay, after moving back to the United States and being in our mid-40s, we feel burnt out and we're considering quitting our jobs to join the FIRE or FINE movement by relocating abroad once more. Amazing. I always think these people are so brave for doing this because I'm such a wimp. I always think I would love to do it, but then I haven't done it. So, okay. So Ernie says after we'd sell our house, we would have combined investment portfolio of about $740,000 and $212,000 in retirement accounts. We are uncertain about our eligibility for Social Security. If we are eligible, by the time we reach 59 and a half, it would probably be a small amount. Well, it wouldn't be 59 and a half. It would be your full retirement age, which is 67. If you've worked in U.S.-based organizations for 40 quarters or 10 years total, you will be entitled to some Social Security payment. But I get it. You don't want to count on it. They are going to invest the $740,000 into dividend-paying stocks and relocate south of the border in South America, where we estimate that our annual living expenses will be around, wait for it, $36,000. Our U.S.-generated passive income will not be taxed in South America for 10 years, and then it only gets taxed at a 12% rate. Currently, we're earning around 7% on our passive income. We're also planning to supplement it with some freelance work. Do you think this is a viable strategy? Are we taking significant risks with our financial future? We would greatly appreciate your advice. Thanks so much. Mark, I'm going to let you go first because I think you're going to be surprised about my advice.
Well, I would just say that, yeah, it's earning 7% right now. It's been a good few years, but, I don't know what the future holds if they're going all in on stocks.
So the reason why I think you'd be surprised is I don't think there's a huge downside. You don't have kids. You're not uprooting anyone. No one's relying on you. So do it and see how you feel. Do get a job, get some freelance work, bring some money in and see how it goes. And what's the worst case scenario? You come back. Don't buy any real estate there. Have some fun. If you're burnt out and you're in your 40s and, who cares? I don't see the hugest downside would be you blow it, you invest the 740, we go into a massive bear market, your 740 turns into 400, you come back. What's so bad? Yeah, Mark, aren't you shocked that I'm saying that?
Well, like you said, there's really, they don't have any responsibilities. There's no kids. If you're going to do it, this is the situation to try it out in.
Absolutely. I think that Mark's right, though. Don't count on getting essentially like getting a 10 or if you're getting 7% return on your passive income. Yeah, great. But, presume that the amount goes to 500. You're going to have a bear market some point in the next 10 years. And you have to think about how you'll feel about it. What I'd love is if you guys, the way I think, the only way I would do it, just personally, you guys can do you, but I would do it as I can make enough money in freelance work to cover the expenses of 36 grand. So can you each get some freelance work, just get that money, and then you don't have to touch your account. That's what I would do. I'd be looking to make like 50 grand a year between the two of you, netting yourselves out, living on your 36, boom, done. Then it's like, let the money go, and you don't even have to live off that money. You could just have it invested. I think that's the best way to do it, but again, you do you. If you have an issue that you are looking to resolve or get some options for, get in touch with us. It doesn't have to be bad. It can be a good thing, by the way. You can just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and check the box if you want to join us live. You're listening to The Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show. We are here trying to help you navigate your financial journey. So if you've got a question or you've got a bunch of ideas about what comes next, why don't you get in touch with us? All you need to do is go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. In the upper right-hand corner is the Contact Us button. That button is always there no matter where you navigate on the site. When you click the button, a form will pop up. That is the email that we receive. So if you're going to join us via email, then of course, give us a lot of detail. However, if you are going to come on live, you just check the box. Mark will do everything else. While you're on the website, check out all the content that lives there. We've got 2 podcasts. You can subscribe to them right on the website or through the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. One is called Jill on Money. One is called Money Watch. I think you'd really enjoy them. We also have a blog. We have a radio show link, so if you miss any part of this show, you can get it. There are videos of my appearances on CBS News, and of course, there are free resources. So let us get to a comment. This is from Pat, who wrote in after reading my Burrito Barometer blog post via Substack. This was the post where I was positing that as we consumers are confronted with higher prices, we may make different choices. So, okay, here's what Pat says. I've noticed an increase in the cost of items I frequently purchase. As a result, I've reduced the amount of dollars spent dining at fast casual places like Chipotle. Additionally, utility rates in my area have increased, and I've adjusted my use to make the costs more affordable. It seems like everything has increased by about 20%, and that means I'm constantly dipping in my savings to stay within my budget. Pat, we heard from so many people who are experiencing the same thing. Thank you so much for writing in. I really do appreciate it. And thanks to all of you for listening and for writing in and hanging out with us. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer and the king of all things web. Every week, we ask that you do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening to the show. We'll talk to you next week.